there is something living under your feet right now. You have walked over it today, you will walk over it again tomorrow. And the entire time, it has been doing something for your garden that no product in any garden center has ever come close to replicating. Today, we are going to talk about what it actually is, what it is actually doing, and why the day you start protecting it is the day your garden changes permanently. But first, stop. Because if you have ever washed one off your hands and shaken it away from your trowel, you have been working against the most powerful thing on your property. The earthworm in your soil contributes to approximately 6.5% of all grain produced on Earth every single year. Let that land for a second. Scientists at Colorado State University published that number in the journal Nature Communications after years of research. 6.5% of every wheat field, every rice paddy, every corn crop on the planet. That works out to roughly 140 million metric tons of food annually. From one creature. No technology, no invoice, no electricity. 140 million metric tons produced with the help of an animal most people wash off their hands without a second thought. And here is the part that should make every gardener stop and reconsider everything. Your earthworms are not just sitting in the soil, they are eating it. Continuously, what goes in one end comes out the other as something completely different from what entered. Penn State Extension has documented that earthworm castings contain 5 times more available nitrogen than the surrounding soil, 7 times more phosphorus, the 3 nutrients printed on every fertilizer bag you have ever bought. The worm produces them in exactly the form plant roots can absorb, delivered directly into the root zone around the clock at no cost to you. And then there is the water. According to research from the USDA Agricultural Research Service, earthworms in a single acre of healthy soil build approximately 250 miles of tunnels every week. 250 miles per acre, per week. Those tunnels are not decoration. When rain hits your garden, those tunnels pull the water down into the soil instead of letting it sheet off the surface. Soil with an active earthworm population absorbed 2 inches of rain in 12 minutes in documented field research. The same soil without earthworms took over 12 hours to absorb the same amount. 12 minutes versus 12 hours. That gap is the difference between a garden that holds a heavy storm and one that loses its topsoil before the rain even stops. And there is one more thing the worm does that almost nobody talks about. Colorado State University research showed that earthworms trigger the production of plant growth hormones directly inside the soil. Compounds that stimulate your plant roots to divide and grow faster. Your tomatoes do not just grow in spite of the worm, they grow because of it. Some research puts that effect at around 25% more productivity from the same seeds in the same soil, with one difference: the worms were left alone. Now here's what kills all of this. Deep tillage breaks the tunnel network that took years to build. Broadcast pesticides wipe out the population along with the pests. Raking away every leaf and piece of organic matter removes the only food source the worm has. 3 things. And a system built over years collapses inside a single season. Leave the leaves this autumn. Dig shallowly. Add compost instead of synthetic fertilizer. And the next time you pull one up on your trowel and feel the instinct to flick it away, remember what it is sitting on top of. 140 million metric tons. Tell me in the comments, when did you last dig in your garden and what did you find? Here is something about the worm in your garden that almost nobody stops to think about. It has no lungs, none at all. It breathes through its skin, the same skin you see when you pick one up. Oxygen passes directly through that surface into its blood. And the moment that skin dries out, the worm is dead within hours. That is the only reason they appear on your path after heavy rain. The soil fills with water, the air pockets disappear, and they come up to breathe. Not because they are drowning. Because they need air just like you do, just through a completely different system. So the next time you see dozens of them on the pavement after a storm, you are not looking at a problem. You are looking at evidence that your soil is alive. Now here's the part that changes how you think about your soil permanently. When soil passes through a worm's gut, something happens to it that no fertilizer bag can replicate. The worm's digestive system is packed with bacteria and enzymes that transform raw soil material into something completely different. What comes out contains 1,000 times more beneficial microorganisms than the soil going in. 1,000 times. You can spend money on microbial soil products at any garden center. The worm sitting under your feet right now is producing the same thing for free every hour of every day directly in the root zone where your plants need it most. And here is what most people never find out. Not all earthworms do the same job. The ones near the surface break down your leaf litter and dead plant material. The ones in the middle layer dig horizontal tunnels right through the zone where your feeder roots grow, keeping that layer open and full of air. And then there are the deep ones. Night crawlers, they go straight down, sometimes 6 feet. And they leave behind permanent vertical tunnels. Permanent, those tunnels do not collapse when the worm moves on. They stay open for years, pulling rainwater down into the soil fast enough that your garden holds a heavy storm instead of washing away in it. The infrastructure under your garden was not built by you. It was built at night 6 feet down. By an animal most people step on without thinking. Darwin spent the last 40 years of his life studying earthworms. Not birds, not finches, not the origin of species. Earthworms, his final book, published in 1881, the year before he died, was about them. He wrote that it may be doubted whether there are many other animals which have played so important a part in the history of the world. The man who changed how we understand life on Earth chose to spend his final years watching worms move through soil in his garden. That tells you something. Now here is the number that puts everything into scale. In 1 acre of healthy soil, researchers have documented more than 1 million earthworms. 1 million. In the ground under a space the size of a standard residential lot. Each one consuming its own body weight in soil every single day. Each one producing castings richer in plant nutrients than anything sold in a store. Each one maintaining tunnels that keep your water where your plants need it. And none of them asking for anything in return except to be left alone. The smell of soil after rain has a name. Scientists call the compound geosmin, produced by bacteria called streptomyces that thrive in exactly the conditions earthworms create. When your garden smells right after rain, earthworms helped make it smell that way. When your tomatoes set fruit earlier than your neighbors. When your lettuce holds moisture through a dry week. When your carrots pull out clean and straight. These are not random outcomes. They are the output of a system running under your feet every single night. A system that was already old when the first human planted the first seed. Michigan State University Extension says the test is simple. Dig a hole 1 foot square, 1 foot deep. Count what you find. 10 worms or more means your soil is healthy. Fewer than 5 means the system needs help. That count takes 5 minutes and a trowel. No lab, no kit. The soil tells you directly. So here is what this comes down to. Most of what gets sold in garden centers is an attempt to copy what a healthy worm population does automatically. The industry exists partly because most gardeners never make that connection. You have made it now. Leave the leaves this autumn. Dig shallowly. Add compost. And the next time someone in your house reaches for something to get rid of the worms on the path after rain, tell them what they are looking at. Not a nuisance. The engineer that built the soil your food grows in. Have you done the count yet? Dig this weekend and tell me what you find in the comments. I read every single one